you're from these parts, you know what this is. Around here, you'll see mile after mile of yellow dent corn. Iowa leads the nation in corn production. We have a lot of it around here. And so, in 2001, a group of local Marcus leaders, business people, and farmers got together in an effort to spur economic activity for the region and ensure that the demand for corn remained strong. They decided to raise the capital necessary to construct a new ethanol corn processing plant on a tract of land just outside of town. And Little Sioux Corn Processors was born. Construction began in 2002, and in April of 2003, production of ethanol began at the brand new $54 million plant. Today, Little Sioux Corn Processors continues to provide a huge economic boost to the area and plays a role in our nation's ethanol industry, helping to fuel our vehicles with a clean-burning fuel source as well as reduce our dependence on foreign oil. What exactly is ethanol? How is it made? Ethanol is ethyl alcohol, an alcohol produced from corn that contains octane and oxygen, resulting in a fuel that burns more completely. Ethanol is the highest performance fuel on the market with a 113 octane rating. When blended with gasoline, which is typically around 84 octane, a 10% mixture of ethanol produces gasoline with an 87 octane rating. Higher percentage blends from 15 to 85% ethanol are becoming more popular, which further reduces our dependence on foreign oil and reduces costs at the pump. That's it in a nutshell. Ethanol effectively replaces a certain amount of fossil fuel-based gasoline in the fuel we all use daily. It burns more cleanly, reducing harmful emissions and toxins in our atmosphere. And according to a recent study, consumers are saving 50 cents to $1.50 per gallon of gasoline as a result of ethanol production under the renewable fuel standard. Our local farmers and the Little Sioux Corn Processors are essentially helping to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, lowering our gasoline prices at the pump, and reducing harmful emissions. Not a bad day's work, right? So, how is ethanol made? How do you get alcohol from corn? It's a simple biological process which utilizes some very sophisticated techniques and equipment. Simply put, the process goes like this. Corn is ground to a fine granular consistency so that the starch matter in the kernel is exposed. Water is added. Enzymes are added to this water. This mixture, called mash, is heated to around 185 degrees. At that temperature, and with the help of enzymes, the cornstarch in the mixture breaks down to become fermentable sugars. It is cooled to 92 degrees, and yeast is added. The yeast consume or eat the sugars, a process called fermentation. As the yeast ferment, they release carbon dioxide and convert the sugars into alcohol. This fermentation process takes between 52 and 62 hours. Once the yeast are done doing their job, the resulting mixture is actually called beer and is about 17 to 18% alcohol by volume. Beer is pumped from the beer well to the distillation column, where heat is added. The alcohol exits the column at 95% alcohol vapor. It moves into a second distillation stage and further distills to 195 proof alcohol. The alcohol then passes through a condenser, which turns the vapor to liquid. Once in its liquid form, the alcohol passes through a molecular sieve process to extract the remaining water. This results in the final ethanol product, which is 200 proof and 99% alcohol. It is transferred to storage tanks and then loaded onto rail cars for shipment. Remember that beer mixture at the beginning distillation? Well, not all of it turns to alcohol. What does not become alcohol is further processed into distiller's grain. It has lost its starch and sugar content, but still retains valuable protein and other components that make it a desirable product for livestock feed. It is dried down and distributed for use by local livestock producers, 333,000 tons annually. Corn oil is another product that is created during the process, and Little Sioux Processors was one of the first plants in the country to install corn oil extraction equipment in 2005, with an annual output of over 27 million pounds. This corn oil is being used in animal feed and biodiesel production. Now, let's talk some numbers, because all of this is happening on a very impressive scale. In 2002, when the plant opened, it could produce 40 million gallons of ethanol annually, enough to fill almost 1,400 rail cars. Over the years, the plant has undergone expansions that not only increased capacity, but also allowed the plant to become more energy efficient. In 2005, production was increased to 52 million gallons a year. Production increased again to 92 million gallons a year in January of 2008. In the summer of 2015, capacity reached 135 million gallons a year, more than 3 times the original capacity. In fact, in January 2015, our plant produced its 1 billionth gallon of ethanol. Single rail cars used to leave the plant back in 2003. Now, units of 80 cars depart at once, and more than 4,200 per year, with most destined for markets on the East Coast. It took 15 million bushels of corn to produce that much ethanol in 2002, over 60 semi-trucks of corn per day. Today, an average of 176 trucks arrive to unload their grain, and over 300 a day during the busy times of the year, delivering almost 43 million bushels a year. The corn arriving at our plant typically comes from a 40-mile radius, and upon opening, we could store up to 400,000 bushels, enough for a 10-day supply. On-site grain storage has increased to 2.9 million bushels, enough for a 23-day supply. A major reason for our continued growth and success since 2002 has been our dedicated and talented employees. Each employee is focused on quality, efficiency, and safety, and plays a key role in the success of our operation and the resulting positive economic impact on our community. The monetary impact of our plant has a ripple effect throughout the area and is estimated to contribute $367 million annually to the local economy and $22.4 million in federal, state, and local tax revenue. A typical ethanol plant of our size supports over 600 direct jobs and 650 indirect jobs. Everything from farmers, equipment manufacturers, service jobs, fuel distribution, yeast suppliers, engineering, R&D, and hundreds more. These are some staggering numbers. Numbers we could only dream about just a couple of decades ago. And we owe all of this to our area leaders and investors who saw the opportunity that the corn plant and the fields of Iowa surrounding Marcus could offer our community. The opportunity to increase the overall economic vitality in the area, for long-term prosperity, for growth and sustainability, bringing a community together and supporting the quality of life we all enjoy in this area. That's Little Sioux Corn Processors, Marcus, Iowa.